Seven investigators were the first to show you how patients have been alleging they were held against their will in psychiatric hospitals, or they say they were coerced into staying for treatment they did not need.
Well, ever since that investigation aired in February, Seven investigator Heather Catallo has received hundreds of calls and emails from patients with similar stories. And she joins us now with a look at what's happening. Heather?
Well, Carolyn and Mike, officials with Michigan's Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, or LARA, say they cannot comment on ongoing investigations. But I have learned that more complaints have been filed with LARA about the psychiatrist we told you about earlier this year. Being held in a psych ward comes with an almost total loss of freedom. In many cases, you cannot leave the locked hospital unit until a psychiatrist says you can. And now another local patient has come forward to share her story of how she says she was held against her will.
Good job, bud.
Sarah Guarino cherishes her freedom and her life after being locked in a psychiatric hospital in March.
I felt kidnapped.
The 31-year-old from Royal Oak says she suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder and insomnia. Sarah says a breakup, nearly losing her job, and intense fear she would be homeless led her to consider committing suicide in March.
I was having what I would call a panic attack. I didn't sleep for a couple days.
Recognizing she needed help, early in the morning of March 13th, Sarah called 911. Royal Oak police took her to a crisis intake center where she met with mental health professionals. Once she finally got some sleep there, Sarah says she felt better.
I kept asking, how long am I going to be held? They said maybe 2 or 3 days. And I said, that's too long. I don't know if anybody's at home with my dog. I need to go back home.
But Sarah says she was then transferred to Stonecrest Center Psychiatric Hospital in Detroit.
I was called out of the room where I was sleeping and told to get into a stretcher. I'm agitated, I'm confused, I'm asking questions like, what the hell is going on? And I basically got told, you can stop asking questions and calm down, or you can get doped up and made to calm down.
At Stonecrest Center, Sarah's records show she was under the care of Dr. Nagy Kier. The psychiatrist works at Stonecrest, Harbor Oaks, and until last spring, he was Pontiac General Hospital's chief psychiatrist.
I'll never forget it. I'll never get over it.
In February, the seven investigators showed you how patients alleged Dr. Kier held them in the hospital longer than necessary to bill their insurance or Medicaid. Dr. Kier denies that he does that.
Why do you think they kept her so long?
I think there was an issue of they were able to bill insurance for it.
Patients don't need to be in there that long if there can be another plan of care found for them outside of a psychiatric hospital.
We also showed you how Dr. Kier pre-signed these blank court forms called clinical certificates that are used in the civil commitment process. The forms are signed under the penalty of perjury, and sources told the seven investigators medical residents were the ones filling out the forms signed by Dr. Kier. We even found Dr. Kier driving at the same time he supposedly was filling out one of those clinical certificates.
You're pre-signing clinical certificates?
Yes.
Before patients are examined?
Yes.
Doesn't that violate their rights?
Not, we examine them, but I find it to be ready for the time factor.
Sarah says she only met with Dr. Kier for a few minutes on a telehealth call at the beginning of her stay at Stonecrest.
And it wasn't even a full interview. It was just him. Are you depressed? No, I'd like to go home. Do you have suicidal ideations? No, I got some sleep and I'm fine now. Okay, cool, thank you.
But Sarah says she was not allowed to go home. According to her records, Stonecrest planned to keep her for more than 3 weeks. Sarah was in a panic to get out. Her dog Enzo was home alone without food or water. She says her regular psychologist even asked Dr. Kier to release Sarah to his care, but was ignored.
It's unprofessional. It's disrespectful.
Even though Sarah says she signed into Stonecrest voluntarily, she says she was not allowed to leave.
I brought it up with the doctor every day. Am I being discharged?
Sarah also says she asked for a lawyer but wasn't given one. Disability rights Michigan lawyer Simon Zagata says if you're a voluntary patient and you ask for an intent to terminate mental health treatment form, the facility has to release you.
They could let you go that hour, but at the very least, within 72 hours, they either have to let you go or start that court process.
How hard was it to get this intent to terminate from them?
Very hard. I asked the doctor for it. She said that if I did that, they were going to open up a court case.
A court case means making you an involuntary patient, where a judge could order you to stay 30 days or more for treatment. On Sarah's 5th day here at Stonecrest, she called me. She'd been told about my first story on Dr. Kier and the mental health system. And after that phone call, suddenly Sarah was cleared for discharge.
The moment they knew that I was talking to you, suddenly I was well enough to go home.
You were no longer suicidal?
Yeah, which I'd been telling them since I got there. But I was given all sorts of credibility the moment they knew I was talking to you. Suddenly this threat of investigation made them go, oh, no, 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 she's not sick, she can go home. They wanted nothing to do with me after that.
After days of her records indicating that she looked bizarre and she allegedly had psychosis, the day after we spoke, Sarah's Stonecrest records suddenly show the patient is reporting improved mood, and the patient was evaluated by Dr. Nagy Kier. The patient is stable. While Dr. Kier said he could not discuss an individual patient's case due to privacy concerns, I previously asked him about the allegations that he holds patients longer than necessary.
Are you holding patients against their will?
No. I cannot do that. I'm not eager to keep patients. I'm not this kind at all.
There's my little guy. Oh, and you even brought me to ball. Can you drop it?
Sarah is grateful to be back home with her dog, but now she says she's furious her insurance was billed more than $16,000 for 6 days of inpatient treatment she did not want.
I no longer trust medical professionals to have my well-being at heart.
How badly do you want the system to change?
Very badly. It needs to. This is a complete misfire. I understand that there's laws in place that were enacted to initiate greater protections for people, but the way that it's being used by healthcare professionals is abusive.
The CEO of Stonecrest Center sent us a written statement that says, in part, quote, while we cannot address specific circumstances, our staff follows rigorous state regulations, treatment timelines, and evidence-based clinical protocols when evaluating progress and ensuring patients are safely discharged to their next level of care. Meanwhile, once again in the past, Dr. Kier has told us that he denies the allegations that he holds patients to increase his billings, but he did not comment for this particular story.
Wow, $16,000 later. So how can we prevent this from happening to us or a family member, a loved one?
Well, this issue of voluntary versus involuntary keeps coming up in almost all the calls I'm getting from the community, and I've gotten hundreds and hundreds of calls and emails, which is why next Tuesday, May 14th at 7:30 p.m., we're going to be streaming a virtual roundtable about knowing your rights in psychiatric hospitals. It will be on WXYZ.com and on our social platforms. It's being put on by Disability Rights Michigan and the Mental Health Association in Michigan. And we want to know your questions so we can answer them during that live discussion. You can email me at hcatalo@wxyz.com or message us on social media. But again, the calls and the emails keep coming. I'm trying to get back to everybody as best I can, but there was this idea to hold this conversation so people can really understand the process.
So that's how we'll find out how not to let this happen to us and our family members and our loved ones.
Absolutely.
Because when things like this happen, it actually discourages people from getting the help that they need.
You're
exactly,
afraid, right?
exactly. Yes, if you need help, you should seek it. But obviously, we don't want patients to be treated poorly.
No, or end
Yeah.
up with bills like that.
Yes.
All right, thanks so much, Heather.
Yes.